Teaching with AI is absolutely different, and it's different for a lot of good reasons. But the first thing that we really have to ask ourselves is, why do we care? Why should we care? Because AI is a tool. It doesn't change the way we learn, it doesn't change how we learn. But what it does do is it gives us many opportunities to create deeper learning. It gives us opportunities to create 24 hours a day, 7 days a week accessibility for students to be able to engage in active learning. And that's a big deal. Engaging in that active learning is a big deal because it has been shown, studies have shown that when students engage in active learning, they learn better. It sticks better. They are more able to use what they learn from active learning as opposed to passive learning or they're able to use it in a more creative way to solve complex issues. So they're able to do more with what they learn. And also for education, it really is about equity as well. And we need to create an awareness of artificial intelligence, access to it, and then accountability. What does that mean? AAA. So it means awareness. So people are going to use artificial intelligence on the job. People are using it. You are probably using it right now on the job. I use it all the time. Creating that awareness of how to use it ethically and properly is our job as faculty members, as instructors, as professors. We have to be able to give that awareness of artificial intelligence and what it can do, because there's a lot of falsehoods out there right now about what it can or cannot do. There's a lot of paranoia about it taking over everybody's job. It will absolutely change your job. Will it take over your job? Well, I don't believe it will, but it will absolutely change your job, and it's going to create other jobs. It's going to open up different career fields that we don't even know about yet. So that's hugely important, that awareness of it. So you start a conversation, you demystify the artificial intelligence, and then always access to it. So if only people with money have access to it, then the rest of us are not going to have access to it, and that's going to create an imbalance or inequity. So we want people to have access to AI and have access to it in a way where they know how to use it for themselves, for their learning, in our case, for their learning. And then accountability. Whoever is using the tool is accountable for the content that they use from the tool. So if I use a machine learning algorithm to help me identify certain things, or I use a GPT and ask it to help me write a script, if I ask it to help me write this script, I would be responsible for that script to make sure that it is correct. So putting the accountability where it belongs is incredibly important. So it's our job to role model these technologies, utilize these technologies so they're demystified, and then give access and show the accountability for these tools that are here. And really, it's all about the learning ecosystem. So we're creating a learning ecosystem with this. So who's in the ecosystem? Well, the technology is absolutely in the ecosystem. It was in the ecosystem prior to artificial intelligence. So now, since artificial intelligence is so new, we have the technology. Now we have artificial intelligence, the professor, anybody who designed the course, the instructional designers, instructional media folks, the student. Of course, students should be at the center of the ecosystem. And it's all about creating an ecosystem so the student has better outcomes. They learn better. They're more able to perform whatever they need to. If they're in a going for a leadership degree, they need to be able to perform in a leadership role. If they're going for whatever they're trying to achieve, they have to be able to be proficient in that area. And AI is a tool that will help them get there. Is it the be all and end all? Is it replacing people? No, it is not. But it is part of the learning ecosystem. And the neat part about it is AI helps at a very human level. What does that mean? Well, because when people interact, so these are some comments from LAPU students who were in a pilot where we utilized course assistants. And what we found was when they worked with the course assistant, they actually had a better feeling towards the course itself. And they felt that the instructor had more of a presence, even though the instructor did not change their instructor presence. They did what they usually do in general, but putting that course assistant in there, kind of knowing that it was the teacher's assistant, the faculty member's assistant, the assistant professor, it made it seem as though the instructor was there much more than they were. So, in other words, it created a greater instructor presence. And when there's a greater instructor presence, the student connects more with the content and the university. So it's pretty cool the way that works. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we train these any assistants that we use or any AI tools, that either we train them or we can verify that they were trained in a way that's congruent with how we want to use them. So that is hugely important. Writing personas and training are the big deal for any AI tool. And really, uh, the first question you want to ask yourself before selecting any tool is, what do I want to be able to do if you're going to use an assistant, with that assistant, or with that AI technology? So ask yourself what you want to do before you start thinking about a tool. Because if you start thinking about a tool first, so it's like the person who only has a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So if all you have is this one tool, you're going to think that it's going to be a remedy for any issue that comes up or any help that you want or need. So think about what you want to be able to do with the technology first. And then how do you communicate what you want to be able to do in a tool to other faculty, staff, anybody engaged within a learning process? Because there's people on the far end where they don't want to use AI. They think it's a detriment for students, even though we know that it helps students learn because it can create active learning scenarios. And there's people all the way on the other side that are like, yeah, it should do everything. And the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? So there's a few people on either end and a whole lot of us that are in that kind of more centrist sort of piece. And it's important to be able to communicate in a way where we can talk intelligently about these tools. And when we do communicate, it's these tools are new and a lot of people don't understand the technology. So as we're getting educated on the technology, we want to share to help people really not just come to grips with the technology, but to really understand what the technology is, so they can make their own decisions as well. So as a faculty member or wanting to teach with this, we want to explain to others why as well, so they can engage within the conversation also.